You are now tuned in to 710 Radio. We are the newest and hottest independent radio station in Colorado and on the internet. The fans named the station. With over 1 million visitors and over 10 million hits. Oh yeah, our website is going bananas. We are the newest and the hottest. This is 710 Radio. 24/7 radio. Stay tuned and tell a friend. The Dabber's Choice. With hot shows 7 days a week.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the
The following program is intended to educate and inform. We discuss cannabis being used as medicine, the culture, science, and controversy of cannabis and cannabis laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity. Moth Networks and their associates do not claim to be lawyers or doctors, nor do they represent themselves as such. All their comments and views are of their own personal opinion and personal experiences. Opinions and claims made by the guests and advertisers on Moth Networks are their own, and all parties agree to the Moth Network use and policy agreement. Moth Network and Moth Network associates cannot be held legally responsible for the statements of the host or of their guests. We encourage all listeners to learn their constitution, to assert their rights, acknowledge their duties, and know their individual state laws.
Go through the digestive system and explain all the organs that are involved with that and how to bring about balance and make sure that at times you are what you assimilate, and that assimilation takes in the digestive tract. Another few things that we don't think about with digestion is where it really does begin, and that has to do with our sense of smell. And you smell the food that's cooking. Maybe you feel as though you're not hungry, but as soon as you smell the food, and the digestive tract then starts to immediately respond to that smell that it picked up on. And, the salivary glands get working. And the stomach, the wall of the stomach, starts secreting hydrochloric acid, anticipating the food that is going to need to be digested. So the stomach is the center of the body, and it's the life force. It's where it begins with enjoying good health. Our body's digestive system is like a city's power plant. Its furnace burns fuel and supply energy to all parts of the city. The fuel must be the proper type or the furnaces won't function effectively. So looking at the digestive system as like a power plant setup, it also has to supply the heat or the spark, which causes the fuel to ignite. Our bodies also need fuel to provide the energy that's needed to maintain our own spark of life. The body is built, repaired, and fueled by about half. Fuel must be selected carefully to provide maximum performance. Food we must eat to be digested and assimilated. If it's not sufficient enough, you're not going to have things running properly. So the digestive system applies the spark that initiates the burning, which is digestion, of our food. This system, if the system is not functioning properly, even the best nutrients do us little or no good. That's where juicing comes in. Everything is so, from the cellular structure and the fiber and stuff that is in the food that's being juiced. That is all broken down into just minuscule properties that are easily absorbed. And it's very important with juicing when you have a very deficient digestion. This way, your food is able to be just literally absorbed. You really don't have to do a lot of work with enzymes to digest it down. 30 to 60% of the enzymes are found naturally occurring in your raw produce. So when you juice and everything is certified organic and raw, 30 to 60% of the enzymes that are needed for digestion are present in that food. So that's the other benefit of juicing. So there are various secretions that take place in the digestive tract. Most importantly are the enzymes, and the enzymes provide the spark that breaks the food down into compounds, which the body is then able to use. So there's three major types of food that needs to be broken down in the process of digestion. And these three types of food are carbohydrates begins with a starch digesting enzyme, and it actually starts in the mouth with the enzymes in the saliva. And it takes approximately about 3 pints of saliva secretion daily to start the beginning process of breaking down your food for absorption. So that all takes place in the mouth. That's with masticating really well. Be sure and chew the food very well. So it needs to mix with the saliva. So that is the beginning of the enzyme process of being able to get the nutrients and stuff from the food, to break it down in small enough particles to be able to absorb the nutrients that are found in that particular food. So carbohydrate digestion is completed by starch and sugar digesting enzymes that are released from the pancreas and the small intestine. So our small intestines are really our body's laboratory. That's where the majority of all of the enzymes are present, and we'll get into more of what specifically those enzymes are in a little bit here. All carbohydrates they're broken down into just simple sugars. Protein breaks down into smaller fragments under the need of hydrochloric acid. And so we hear about, we see those commercials with the little stomach pumps, and they're secreting hydrochloric acid. And these over-the-counter medications or prescription medications stop that those little pumps from being activated. And unfortunately, what ends up happening by doing that is it stops the hydrochloric acid. And we have to have hydrochloric acid in order to properly break down all of our proteins. Or what ends up happening is we have a lot of undigested proteins that are floating around in the bloodstream that trigger a lot of allergies, and certainly there are cancers that develop from undigested proteins. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show too, and what to do to break that shield down. So the other thing that I want to say is that so many times when you have this over acid condition in your stomach, to where you have all of this heartburn and there's all these medications out there to stop all of that. But the thing is if you do not have enough hydrochloric acid in the stomach, what happens then is the proteins start putrefying in the stomach. And it's actually the acid of that breakdown that causes all of this indigestion and heartburn, and that coming back up into the esophagus and leading to what they call GERDs. And so it actually has to do with the lack of hydrochloric acid. By inhibiting those pumps from being able to bathe the wall of the stomach with hydrochloric acid, it doesn't break protein down. So it sits in there, and you need to remember the internal body temperature is 98.6. So you have this food sitting in the stomach for an extended time at an internal body temperature of 98.6, and it is those acids that are created from the breakdown of that being undigested. Okay, so we need to have those little acid pumps going. We need to do things to make sure that hydrochloric acid is triggered and released on the wall of the stomach, because it's crucial for protein. So the proteins need hydrochloric acid and pepsin in the stomach. And what they do when they break that protein down small enough is it breaks them down into the free amino acids in the intestinal tract. The enzymes from the pancreas and the intestinal wall help as well with breaking down proteins. Now, fat digestion doesn't begin until fats reach the small intestine. So it's bile salts that are released from the liver, and then the bile is released from the gallbladder that is released that will start to break the fat down. And what that does is that particular group of enzymes that are needed convert the fat so that it is water soluble, so that it can be carried through the bloodstream. And then the enzymes from the pancreas as well help with the breakdown of the sugars and the breaking down of food particles, and so that they're small enough to pass from the small intestine into the bloodstream. So the majority, 90% of absorption takes place in the small intestine. There's many other ways that we can, that we do in America. We're a melting pot. We're a country where so many different nationalities that on any given day you can eat from 3 different countries. And if you have a diet that is consistent like that, of maybe eating out a lot, which I don't think is really a good idea, but for people that do, the best thing to do here is to make sure that you are taking digestive enzymes, because